Good morning, guys. This is Julian T, and it is 10 minutes past 2 in the morning, and I have a video to upload. Basically, this one is dealing with the 30th of November, which is basically the 3rd of November with the 03 switched around. I've come across this date because it mathematically equals exactly the same as the 3rd of November. So I'm looking out for the two dates, the 3rd of November and the 30th of November. Now, I want to bring your attention to some things. I'm going to try and be as quick as possible, but bear with me. I really want you to watch this video, so let's begin. Now, this is the iPet Goat video, iPet Goat 2 video in slow motion. What we have at the beginning, I'm not going to be going through everything because there's a lot of videos out there that have already analysed a lot of these parts. Some of them I've already done, but I just want to point out again that the goat's head, as it moves round, you see there's 1, 2, 3 items there. They move round in the shape of a 6, and since there's 3 of them, that's 6, 6, 6. So we're already looking at 11. Before it moves on quickly, I just wanted to point out that I've been considering why the I has a comma next to it and then a blank space and then the pet goat, rather than just having the blank space as is represented between the pet and the goat. We have a comma here instead. I think that's signalling that the I is important here. Either way, even if it's not, what's translating in my research is looking at the 30th of November, the I is the 11th letter of the alphabet, and obviously the goat's head moved around 3 times, so I've got 311 there. Since 0 is ignored in mathematics, adding up. If you add the 0, you've got 1130. If you take away the 0, you've got 11.3. So that was the first point I wanted to speak about. Not just the fact that we've got the I is the 11th letter of the alphabet, we've also got 11 blocks here. So that's 11 twice, and then we've also got the 2 here, which could also represent 11. So we've got 11 in the I, 11 in the blocks, and 11 in the 2. So that's 3 11s, which is 33, which is the Master Mason number, which is right at the beginning of the video. So if you're looking in that way, you could say that this is an indication for people who are aware of these encoded videos to pay attention, because this is something that's coming from the Master Masons or the Illuminati or the Skull and Crossbones, or whatever secret society is coming from. The video is telling them in the very beginning that there's information in this video for you to watch. Not only that, but you've got the obvious 666 mark on his head there, so that lets you know that this is for people who know exactly what's going on and what to look out for. I'm not one of those people, but I'm doing my best to interpret the video as best I can. So that's the opening scene. I want to jump to the next scene, which is in the classroom. What I want to point out before I start playing the video anymore is the 0 on the wall. Considering we haven't got the A, B, C or D, the 0 actually becomes the 11th letter of the alphabet on this wall, and the Z, I believe that just represents the end, or beginning at the end, or the actual end. I don't know, but it's curious to me that we've got 11, 11, 11 in the beginning of the video, and then we've got 11 being represented by the by the O, over here, and the Z represents, in my opinion, the end. Over here we have snowflakes, which I believe represents winter. Obviously November is winter time. And then up here on the wall, you'll see it a bit clearer later in the video, is the owl, which represents wisdom. So let's play a little bit. And by the way, I believe that the D, as I mentioned before, represents Donald Trump, as it would probably be too obvious to actually make Donald Trump be in this video, considering it was made years before Donald Trump even announced himself as running for president. So it's possible that the D could be representing Donald Trump. And what he's doing here is distracting, which he seems to be doing at the moment in any way possible, whether that's talking about grabbing women by their private parts, or DACA, or building a wall to keep out Mexicans, or putting a travel ban in place, or ending the Iran agreement, or starting a war with North Korea, or starting problems with Venezuela, kicking Cuban diplomats out of the country, and ordering diplomats in America back to the USA, problems with Russia as well, problems with NATO. So he seems to be the problem president, and he's causing all these distractions. There's so many things going on. People really don't know what to focus on. Everyone's got their mind focused on different things. So I feel like he's playing his role really, really well in terms of distracting the people. My next point I wanted to point out is the hangman over here. Now, I've pointed out that I believe that it is showing as a hangman, obviously, but I believe it also represents a broken circuit in terms of there being no electricity when this event comes around. Just coming out of that very quickly, I've also researched on the 30th of November is the Cities for Life Day, and the Cities for Life Day is a worldwide festivity that supports the abolition of the death penalty, and it's celebrated on the 30th of November. So on the 30th of November they got rid of the death penalty pretty much worldwide, even though people still get put to death. It's supposed to be abolished on the 30th of November, and then we've got the unfinished hangman, so he's missing his leg here for him to completely hang, which could represent the abolition of the death penalty. So that was just another point. And the other thing for the 30th of November as well is it's the day to mark the departure and expulsion of Jews from the Arab countries and Iran. So obviously with the problems going on in the Middle East at the moment and with Iran, the date seems quite important for Jews, especially as it marks the day of their departure and expulsion from those Arab countries and from Iran, and could signal another event to possibly happen some years later. Excuse me. Let's get back to the video. I'm going to be pausing a few times because I want to point out something, and there may be some additional research that I've done to show you, so please bear with me on this. Obviously, you've got the checkered floor on his eyes, which is Masonic symbols. So the next point I want to talk about has already been pointed out by YouTuber JK Bugger, is the electric socket down here, which doesn't have any outlets on it. So again, that could signify no electricity, as well as I believe that this hangman not only represents the abolition of the death penalty on the 30th of November, but could also represent a broken circuit. Jump. Get to this LOL. I don't believe that that's LOL, as in for laugh out loud. I did think at one point it could have been 10/1, which would have been October 1st, but that's passed. So I'm looking at it now as 101. And what I've discovered, looking at the 30th November date, I then went back 101 days, which took me to the 21st of August. And I didn't actually bring it up, so I'll bring it up very quickly. It was on the 30th of August is when Big Ben was stopped for renovations, and that's for 12 years. The clock was actually stopped on 12 o'clock. So I'll point out where I'm referring to that part in the video in a moment. But, you know, if that is 101 days from the 21st August being the 30th of November, then that's kind of telling you there. But making it look like an LOL, so that's not so obvious. So at this point here, I started looking at the splitting of the apple, which a lot of people, including myself, have taken to be the splitting of the atom. And when you look at the splitting of the atom, the code name for it was Trinity, or the Manhattan Project. It was part of the Manhattan Project, but it was actually called Trinity, and it was the code name of the first detonation of a nuclear weapon. And that was done by the British and by the American scientists. We'll go back to the iPetCode video. You can see you've got a pound coin down here in the corner, which I think is just letting you know that the UK or Britain is also involved in this. Symbolically, the sea reaching out to intertwine with each other could be an indication of the Britain and America's special relationship, as they call it. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Let's move on. So now we're coming to the outside school, and I'm going to stop it just here because apart from the graffiti on the wall, which is over here reflecting in the window saying Psalms 23, if you pause it here, you can see you've got this symbol here, which is like a U with a line through it, and then you've got the Z or lightning symbol. So when I went and researched those, the U with the line through it is actually a Greek letter, and it's the letter Psi, and it's the 23rd letter in the alphabet. Considering we're looking at 11 and 30 or 11 and 3, the 23rd could be like in 24-hour time 23, and in 12-hour time 11, so that could be looked at as 11 coming up again. And then the lightning symbol itself kind of looks like that. It's not exactly looking like that, but that's basically it. And that symbol has been associated with Lucifer, evil pagan gods, rock music, and even books and movies. If we scroll down a little bit more, you've got it on like the Kiss rock band. They've got it in their actual name there, and AC/DC, which I find interesting considering there's also a theme of loss of electricity throughout the iPetCode video. So you've got alternating current and direct current there, and then the line straight through to represent electricity or power. So that's interesting. The lightning symbol in Greek mythology is an attribute to Zeus. Many people think this was the Greeks' version of the Christian god, but he's far from it. He was full of pride and arrogance. He waged war against the gods above him. He was a master of disguise and deceit. He wielded mighty power on earth. He was also known as the sky god, often referred to as the lord of the sky. He bred with women of the earth to create godmen, or as some may know it, Nephilim. He was known as the god of this world to many of the Asian cultures. And what God says about that is, it kind of looks as if Zeus is Lucifer, basically. So, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will sit also upon the mountain of the congregation, in the sides of the north, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. So, the Greek god Zeus appears to be the Christian version of Lucifer, Satan, the devil, evil incarnate, basically. So you've got the lightning symbol again being used in like Harry Potter, for example, and then on this website it's listed a couple of verses where it talks about sorcery and like wizards and stuff like that, and how you should stay away from it, and not follow that kind of stuff, which is interesting because I believe in the words of the Bible. So according to this, sorcery and magic is real, and you should stay away from it. It's not just in movies and TV shows and on rock bands, but you've got it on the kids stuff as well. So Elmo and the Furbies, and I can't remember the name of this artist, but yeah, he's got it slashed across his face, and you've got it on Lady Gaga as well. So that lightning symbol has a lot of meaning behind it. Also, just going back to the video very quickly, in the same scene, as I mentioned, you've got the Psalm 23 on the wall, and that's obviously 23 there. So again, that could be 12 hour 11, represented as 11, 23. So there we have 11 popping up again and again and again and again and again and again, along with 3, 3 or 30 popping up again and again and again and again. So, you know, we just keep our eyes open and keep looking at those kind of things. Further on in the video, we'll move on a little bit. See what I'm talking about. So here we have a clock tower, and the most famous clock tower in the world is Big Ben. Everyone knows about Big Ben. This clock is stopped on 12 o'clock. So was the clock in the classroom, stopped on 12 o'clock. And that's exactly the same time as Big Ben was stopped on the 21st of August. It was stopped at 12 o'clock. And 101 days from there, which I believe the LOL from Obama is representing, it's the 30th of November. So that's the way I'm linking it to. Obviously, already been in the serpent's eye. You can see the 3 there, and then that's a snake's eye. It's going straight down, so that could be 12 and 3, which is basically 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in 24-hour time is 15. So if you see a 15, it's representing 3. And if you see a 23, it's representing 11. So I just wanted to point that out also. So we're drawing in some more 3s and more 11s. And obviously 3 times 11 is 33, which is a Masonic number, Master Mason. So on the next scene, planes, and again, it's just a reference to number 3 again. I'm not gonna go into what I think those 3 planes, where I think those 3 planes are coming from, or who I think they're attacking. But to point out the number 3 again, just making itself known. 3 is the number of Trinity, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But again, Trinity is also the code name of the first detonation of the nuclear weapon, and it would be ironic if the first detonation of a nuclear weapon by British and American scientists was used against the British and the Americans. Yeah, it wouldn't be good at all. So moving on to the next step, we've then scene I've always kind of struggled with. I've never really attempted to interpret it, but because I've never understood what Africa kind of had to do with this whole thing. But now I think I do, considering I'm looking at the 30th of November. You've got the 5th EU Africa Summit on the 29th and 30th of November 2017. So again, it's leading us to the 30th of November. The EU originally had 12 members, which I went through in a video a while back, with the figures on the floor surrounding the girl. I think that may represent the 12 original EU members, but that particular scene is open to interpretation. But I just wanted to point out that we have a scene with Africa in the video, and we have the EU Africa Summit on the 29th and 30th of November. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Let's move on again. Sorry, I'm trying to do this as quickly as in the video a while back, fellow YouTuber JK Bugger asked fellow followers to count the amount of fish that jumps into the boat. I did, along with a number of other people, and we came up with the number 30. And looking at it this way, it's almost impossible to count the number of fish that get into the boat, but if you slow it down frame by frame, it becomes much easier. So there's 30 fish in that boat. And again, we're looking at number 30, number 3, number 11, number 15, number 23, kind of linking into the same, either 3rd of November or 30th of November. The next scene I'd like to cover is actually this one coming up. As I've mentioned before, in her eye you'll see a white light going across which looks like a missile or something, and then she gets scared and backs away from it, more as if pressure waves is coming towards her. On her shoes you've got the laces tied in an X, and there's 3 X's there, so X is the Roman numeral for 10, and there's 3 of them, so that's 30 appearing again, just in case we didn't get it from all the other 30s that have appeared in this video. Now at this point, notice here where her finger is, there's 1, 2, 3 marks. Unlike the others, which are tallies of 5, this one is a tally of 3, so it's 1, 2, and 3. She's pointing to that. Also behind her, you'll notice that there's a shark here, which is supposed to represent a submarine. Submarines being involved in whatever event takes place. So this is the shark's eye, if you notice here. We then have the shark's head, which comes up in a cone-like shape and comes round, and the 5 marks here, they represent the shark's gills. And the eye, if you notice, the eye is actually a clock, looks like a clock anyway, and has the marking of 12 and 3 in there, so that's another reference to 3. And then obviously you've got the whole image of a shark there. Obviously once you point it out, it's obvious. It's like, why haven't we seen it before? But once you've seen it, you can't unsee it, and that seems to be the way with these optical illusions, the way they do things. I also believe that it looks like the shark is coming up out of water, because if you notice over here, if you follow where the mouse is going, this looks like a wave and then it curls round like that. So it looks like it's a giant wave that this submarine is possibly coming out of, or coming behind. So I don't really know what's going to happen in that respect, but what I do know is I see a shark here, and I see a clock here, and I see the number 3 in that clock, and I see that this lady's finger is also pointing to 1, 2, and 3 tally marks on this wall. It's also highlighted as well, so just like the eye is white with the lines in it, you've got this area here which is white with the lines in it. So that's also why I've stopped it there and pointed that out. Excuse me. So I think I have covered everything I wanted to cover on the actual iPad Go video, pointing to 11s and to 30s and 3s. So the way I'm looking at it is the 3rd of November or the 30th of November. Both of those mathematically add up to the same thing. Going back to The Simpsons, which I've discussed quite a few times, in the opening scene, I believe it. I'm not sure exactly where this whole 22 days without incident, 3 days without incident, 23 thing started, but I've gone back to like the 26th season, and I can see it in there. I didn't go back any further, so they may have been showing it for a long time now. But basically, you've got 23, which is 11 in 12-hour time, and then as he falls over, and then we've just got the 3. So that's where another 311 has come out for me, or possibly 3011 if you're ignoring the 0 on this. The other Simpsons episode that I've looked at is if you go on YouTube and type in 3 a.m. Simpsons, this video will come up. It's basically a video of Trump receiving an emergency at 3 o'clock in the morning. But what's interesting is basically, obviously, we start at 3 o'clock, so we've got the 3 there already. And then notice how it stopped at 3 before it started spinning, 3:30 before it started spinning fast. So you've got the 3-3, which again is 33, Master Mason, letting you know that there's something hidden for you to see. If you get 33, which is the Master Mason number, it generally means that there's something for you to find or something for you to see. So you should pay attention. So as the clock spins really fast, you probably saw it there, but I'll just rewind it a little bit. You can see that the clock, before it moved on to the next scene, it stopped at 11:30. Again, November 30th or November the 3rd, if you're ignoring the 0. So could all be coincidence, but there's a lot of coincidence here. So I'm just making sure that I'll let people know about it. And then the last thing that I did research was just the maths of it. So the 30th, 3 plus 0, the 11th, 1 plus 1, and 2017, 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7. I actually didn't do this calculation in the calculator. Google done it for me, and it popped up with 11.5, which is 11.5 or 11:30. So again, I'm kind of being pushed in that direction. And as I pointed out before, you've got, if you add those numbers up, 3 plus 0 is 3, and 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7 is 10. You've got 3, 2, 10, or 3, 2, 1, 0. And that's a countdown. So both the 3rd of November and the 30th of November translate to 11.5 or 11:30 or 11.5. And then it also has the countdown of 3, 2, 1, 0. There are a few dates that do that. Years, they're spread out throughout the years. I've done a couple calculations, but this is the closest one. And considering everything that's going on in the world at the moment, I thought it may be relevant. So that's the end of my video, and I hope that nothing actually happens on the 3rd of November or the 30th of November, and that we can, continue to, well, I wouldn't say continue to live the way we're living, because the way we're living is not good. I would hope that things would get better, but it seems like it's all this order out of chaos business. So there's a lot of chaos going on, as I mentioned everything already, with Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, Russia, China, Iran, Venezuela, you know, earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, everything's going on at the moment, and our attention is being dragged in so many different ways. Um, it's almost impossible to keep up with everything that's going on if you have a life. But if you're like me and you don't have one, you can pretty much continue researching all the live long day. But yeah, all jokes aside, this is probably one of the most serious videos that I've made about these dates and the iPad Go 2 video. I don't have anything else to really show you apart from what I've shown you, and you know, specific sections of the video relating to specific sections that are actually going on in the world and being warned by all these different media outlets. And I just hope nothing happens. That's all.